The rain fell in relentless sheets over Manhattan, turning the streets into glistening rivers and the city lights into blurred halos. Damian Caldwell stepped out of his limousine, his bodyguard holding a black umbrella above his head. The billionaire's face was expressionless, carved from years of ruthless business deals and the hollow ache of personal loss. His shoes struck the pavement with precision, each step carrying the weight of a man who owned half the skyline yet lived with an emptiness no wealth could fill. He was heading toward the glass entrance of his towering headquarters when a voice, thin and ragged, cut through the storm. "Mr. Caldwell." Damian stopped, annoyance flickering in his eyes. Few dared call out to him so directly. He turned and saw a boy, no older than 16, standing at the curb. The boy's clothes were soaked, clinging to his frail frame, and his skin was darkened by both heritage and hardship. His amber eyes glowed strangely against the dim city lights, sharp and unyielding despite the cold. Damian sighed, already reaching for his wallet. "I don't give out change," he said curtly. The boy shook his head, his voice cracking yet firm. "I'm not here for money. I'm here for you." Security began to close in, but the boy's next words froze Damian in place. "Your daughter is alive." The world seemed to tilt. Damian's chest tightened, his breath catching like a man plunged into ice water. For 6 years, he had carried the unbearable truth of Sofia's death. A fire had stolen her from him, or so he believed. He had buried an empty coffin, grieved a child whose body was never found, and convinced himself she was gone forever. To hear otherwise was not just shocking, it was cruel. His composure cracked, and his voice came low and dangerous. "What did you say?" "I've seen her," the boy said, stepping forward with trembling hands. "They told you she died. They lied. She's alive. And I can prove it." Damian's instincts warred within him, hope against suspicion, grief against fury. He grabbed the boy by the shoulders, his voice shaking for the first time in years. "If this is some trick, I'll destroy you." "It's not a trick," the boy whispered fiercely. "She's waiting for you." For the first time in a decade, Damian Caldwell felt fear, not of losing fortunes, but of believing in hope again. Damian paced his penthouse office, his polished shoes silent against the marble floor. The storm outside rattled against the glass walls, lightning illuminating the skyline in fractured flashes. The boy sat stiffly in a leather chair, dripping rainwater onto the expensive rug but too focused on his words to notice. Damian had dismissed his bodyguards and staff. This was too delicate, too dangerous. His voice was sharp as a blade when he finally spoke. "Talk. And choose your words carefully." The boy swallowed, his amber eyes darting around the room before fixing on Damian. "My name is Elijah. I grew up in the underground camps, the places the city doesn't want anyone to know about. Kids like me, runaways, forgotten children, the ones nobody comes looking for, we end up there. And that's where I saw her. A girl with green eyes, long dark hair. She said her name was Sofia." Damian's chest constricted. Sofia. The name was both dagger and bomb. He wanted to dismiss it as coincidence, a cruel ploy by a desperate vagrant, but Elijah's tone carried something raw, something real. "You're lying," Damian said, though his voice trembled with doubt. Elijah leaned forward, his voice urgent. "I'm not. They staged the fire. It wasn't an accident. Someone wanted you broken, and they wanted her hidden. She's been alive all this time. I saw her just weeks ago. She asked me to help her find her father." The words carved through Damian like fire. He had always suspected something about the fire didn't add up, the missing reports, the inconsistencies, but grief had been easier than hope. Now, hope returned like a storm, and it terrified him. He narrowed his gaze at Elijah. "Why tell me this now? What do you want?" Elijah hesitated, then lifted his chin. "Because they're moving her soon. If you don't act, you'll lose her again. And he faltered, then pressed on. "I think I'm part of this too. My past, it's tied to hers somehow. I need answers as much as you do." Damian studied him in silence, torn between suspicion and a father's desperate longing. For the first time in years, the billionaire who controlled everything realized he was standing on the edge of something far greater, and far more dangerous, than he had ever faced. The hunt for the truth had begun.